In the native cultures, they have the Great Spirit, or sometimes they just call it the Spirit, or just Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of the Lord in the Old and New Testaments. I love the beginning of Genesis, this void that is dark and formless. It exists, but it doesn't really exist because there's no form there that separates this from that. And what began this real creation was the Spirit of the Lord moving upon the face of the waters. That movement was what really sparked the creation, because after this movement, then God said, "Let there be light." This Spirit that is moving upon the face of the waters, another translation is, it's hovering. And the one I love the most is brooding. The Spirit was brooding. There's a total attention of this Spirit on that face. You would almost say there's an obsessive quality about it. The Spirit of the Lord in Genesis might have been the first stalker. For untold, before there was even time, it was brooding and hovering on this face. Not a human face, but there was a face there. And from all this brooding and hovering, finally there was enough motion that the waves formed, and this was the beginning. There's a excess to this, and it links with what we've been talking about the shaman hour, the hour of the shaman versus the 11th hour. The shamans and the prophets in days of old, these were not reasonable people. They were obsessed with the source. They were all consumed by this source. In this union with the source, they surrendered themselves to it completely. So we have to let go of some of these associations that we have been brainwashed with in our culture about excessiveness, and that you just eat in dainty little ladylike portions, and you're a gentleman at the table. In the hour of the shaman, we're talking about guzzling and swilling and gorging ourselves, ravaging the source. Because it turns out that's how the source likes to be consumed, with gusto. So there's nothing prudent, nothing reasonable about being the moth plunging into the flame, being the Spirit obsessed and hovering and brooding. Osiris and Isis in ancient Egypt, here's an obsessive relationship. They're brother and sister, twins, and lovers, husband and wife, inseparable. Even when he was killed and cut into all these pieces, she goes to the ends of the earth to reconstruct all the pieces. This is the kind of all-encompassing union that we're talking about between the shaman and the source.